What's up, guys? Killboy here with your weekly dragon report of what it is actually like out here on the dragon. It's Friday, Good Friday, Easter weekend, 1:30 something p.m. and pretty decent out. It's a little cool, but 60-ish. Today's a pretty good example of how dead slow it can be sometimes out here, and people don't really get that report back. So that's why I started doing these. And when it's real crowded, everybody's out here to report back. Obviously, you got a road full of reporters, but when nobody's out here, there's nobody to report back that there's nobody out here. So that's what these are for, to show you dead silence. Just what it's like a good majority of the time, really. So don't always believe the hype. And I usually shoot, I've gotten to where I shoot 2 or 3 of these 12-minute videos, and I try to pick the busiest one because I know that's, more interesting than a static shot with silence or birds chirping in it. But yeah, just keep that in mind. I'm usually, and I don't know, this may not be the candidate that gets picked for this week, but we'll see. But yeah, just keep it in mind, I usually try to pick one that's unusually busy version of the 12-minute video shoot, just to keep it as interesting as possible. Leaves are starting to come in finally. Seemed like it took forever this year. It's been kind of a blessing and a curse with flying the hexacopter. The RC helicopter thing is no trees. It's kind of barren looking, but at the same time you can see the terrain and the road and things like that from above. But it'll also be nice when there's some color. Just gotta appreciate all the different palettes that we get here. Spring is pretty cool. The leaves start off kind of a bright green, obviously new flesh coming out, but dogwoods are already blooming. You can see white everywhere, and dandelions and all that's coming up, so it's a pretty time of year. This is shade tree turn. Some of you regulars that recognize it, those that don't, it's about halfway through dragon. It's a double apex. It's a little easier to see from out here outside the turn, up above it a little bit. Although this wide angle lens makes everything look a little more curvy and farther away than it really is. We call it shade tree because there used to be a gigantic tree over there on the other side of the road that kind of hung out over the road and provided a lot of shade for us to sit under, but it fell a few years ago, fell across the road, and now it's just a very open double apex turn, and the first of 3 double apexes going up the hill to the right. saw a little rash of wrecks over the past week or so, I guess. 3 cars and a few bikes, but a couple of the cars just weren't really killing it. In fact, usually it's not the fast guys that are wrecking, typically, but drop a tire off the road and then the car spins around and shoots off the side of the road. So still people working out the rustiness and the cobwebs from the off seasons. Take it easy until you get into the groove. And not much on the calendar this weekend. I guess a lot of groups don't plan things on holiday weekends. People want to be in with their families, and people assume it's going to be too busy to plan anything out here. So it can be all over the place on holiday weekends. It can be pretty dead or really busy. People trying to second guess what other people are going to do. It's unpredictable, but tomorrow may be a whole different story. But Friday's usually a pretty good indicator of what the weekend will be like. But next weekend there's 3 or 4 groups on the calendar. I think the Mini Cooper thing. I forget what else. Volvo C30s and I forget something else, but you can go to Tail the Dragon, look at their calendar, event calendar there, and see who all signed up. Some groups don't put theirs out there, thinking that it'll alert the authorities or something like that. Those guys are scheduling the law enforcement guys are scheduling their time out here way in advance, for one thing. Plus, they're pretty much here every weekend in some capacity. So not putting it on the calendar doesn't really make a difference. It just makes it harder for other groups to plan their events around times when there's not much out. So really encourage you guys, if you're part of a group, to consider putting your event on the calendar. It's not going to have any kind of negative impact, and it allows everybody to sort of prepare for you guys. And sometimes, like the Tail the Dragon store, they'll make special free stickers down there and things like that if they've got a heads up that there's going to be a group coming. So it's and then of course we can plan somewhat, but we typically are going to shoot our hours and our locations regardless of what's happening as far as groups coming in and out. But it allows us to kind of have a heads up on what's going on too. But for the other groups that are planning trips to the area, it's good for them to know which weekends are going to be busy with the Minis or the Miatas and stuff like that, the big Cherokee rallies and things like that. This place is a madhouse. Excuse me while I enjoy a Mentos. Still scraping. Alright, that's about 12 minutes. I'm going to let it run on just for anybody that wants to let it play and maybe do some work while it plays in the background. Listen to the sounds of occasional motorcycles coming through the Dragon. But yeah, till next week. Please check us out at killboy.com for all your pictures and stuff. Keep us going, keep us in business. Looking at the videos and the highlights is entertaining, I know, but doesn't pay the bills, so do what you can to help us out and we'll get to keep doing this, okay? Till next week. For those of you wondering what I do sitting out here when it's this slow. I play hill climb racer. Oh, and I'm out of gas. I'll keep that turned down. Or read books or magazines. Depends on what I'm feeling like.